whole wide world. I hope you're good. I hope you're great. I hope you're having a lovely day. Now listen, man, we have not a lot to get through, but the things we need to get through, yeesh. Anyways, let's talk about this rand manipulation that has been making everyone go crazy, including myself, man. I've just been thinking, sitting down, formulating my own opinions about it. To me personally, I don't think I was too shocked. I think I was more shocked about the headlines saying that R1 trillion a day. Yeah, R1 trillion a day is what this whole rand manipulation thing has been costing us. But I have to come out and say it. It's impossible. Not even South Africa can afford trillion rands of losses a day. Those are just headlines. They're just hyperbole. But I do agree with the fact that it should have been headlined like that, because it has gotten everyone's attention to just the amount of corruption and just how hard as South African citizens we've been trying to just do our part in paying our taxes and just going about our daily lives and trying to fix this inflation and this economy and so forth and such. Then you just have banks doing the exact opposite, doing what they want for themselves by themselves. And this rand manipulation comes by way of colluding with each other, essentially eliminating all needs of competition. So we know that banks are supposed to compete against each other so that us as citizens, as customers of these services that banks provide, we can have a say or choose which bank we want to bank with. Now, what they've been doing is so underhanded, and it just messes with everything that we've been working hard or everything that we've been fighting against. Now let's just talk about how this has affected you as a citizen. We know that the stronger our currency, the better our living experiences will be, less inflation, cost of living will be lower. Life in general will be all around better. Now, when banks are doing this and they're essentially just killing the South African rand, how does this affect you? You mean you would have paid way more than you should have when you're importing goods, especially if you're a business. And we know that importing is a major way of getting us as South African products. If you've exported anything, you would have gotten maybe even less money than you should have, even if you're paying tax, guys, because sometimes the government does help out banks in settling debts and we pay the government. So you see, it's a whole cycle. But let's talk about how they were all colluding, how it was all done. I'm gonna link you guys a video below that explains it very well for you. The issue with Dan Korba, I hope I'm saying his name right, but he explains it so well. Anyways, I'm just gonna summarize it all for you guys. Essentially, let's say you have 3 banks. When you do export and import and work in different currencies, you need to work through a bank. So these 3 banks would decide on how long they should have the best services in terms of the lowest currency conversions or the lowest service rates. So these 3 banks would decide, okay, let's say bank 1 should have the lowest service rates for January. The other 2 banks know that they won't be making much money. Bank 1 knows that it will be making the most money. Then they decide, okay, now let's go into February. Bank 2 is going to have the best service rates, and bank 1 will raise its service rate so that bank 2 can have some money or can get some more than usual traffic towards it. and so forth and so forth and so forth. And this is how these banks have been working together. It's just a way to summarize it, but I have linked a video down for you guys to just see it for yourselves. This also includes the links and articles that I've seen and I've read about this whole situation. So this is how these guys have been manipulating, and how the currency has been going down. And literally last week we were speaking about the repo rates, could it be going up, down, and the reason why it's so high right now is because inflation is so expensive. Then you could just get these banks just trying to suck us dry. That's where I have my own personal issues with money as a core of our society and our economy, is because it is such an abstract thing. Because the powers that be can literally decide to do anything they want with the currency because they just created it, they made it. I mean, money in all intents of purposes is just numbers, or a piece of paper if you want to give it a physical manifestation. Gold is only valuable because it's hard to find, or it's hard to get a hold of because it's so deep into the ground. I'd say maybe it has a value in the sense that it's malleable, it doesn't rust, and all sorts of properties that it has. But the thing is, we can still use recycled materials that we've all mined up from the ground. We have metals, other metals that are not that hard to find. And if there are metals that do rust, we have technology that makes metals not rust. I just feel it's a form of control. But that's just my conspiracy theory on it. So for me, that's why I'm not the biggest fan of money as a concept. I understand and I know its importance in our society as a whole. But as a means of living equally, I mean, we all know poverty is a thing. I mean, we have people who are so poor that they don't even have homes or anything, and at the other end of the spectrum you have people who have multi-million rand homes, multi-million dollar homes, and multiple of those homes. So for me, money is, there has to be a better solution to for money. I don't know what it could be. This is just my own philosophy. But as money as a concept, for me personally, it's a bit strange. I don't like it. I understand it. I know every day I wake up and I try to get as much money as I can, because unfortunately that's just the society that we live in. It's the society that we've created as people. And until money is no longer a thing, then there's nothing we can do about it. Let's talk about a little bit of good news coming out of Israel and Palestine. Hostages were released and there is a ceasefire because of it. Well, I'd say there's a ceasefire because they're trying to release their hostages. Palestine released 17 hostages. Israel released 39 hostages. I would assume the numbers are very different because Palestine is much smaller army, much smaller power. So I don't think that they took that many people as opposed to Israel, or kidnapped that many people. Let me not just say took, because it is kidnap at the end of the day. Both countries are, yeah, man, they're in a war, so we have to call it like how it is. And hopefully the ceasefire is a beginning of a step in the right direction. The ceasefire comes after a long delay. I wouldn't say long, but a couple days delay, because Palestine was accusing Israel of not holding up their end of the bargain because of some military aid issues. But I hope that because it did happen at the end of the day that things are getting better in some capacity. I know this war and this fight has been going on since before any of us listening was even born. I just hope that it ends soon, because it is really sad seeing so many kids dying, so many women dying, and just regular people just dying and being bombed away, and it's really hard to watch. So I do hope that everything comes to an end in our lifetime. But let's bring it back home here, guys, and voting. My people, my age group, my peers, this one is for you. I hope you guys have registered to vote. I really, really, really hope you guys have registered to vote. If you have not, go now. Especially you people in Gauteng. You guys are disappointing me. These numbers I'm seeing on Stats SA is lamentable. But Eastern Cape, Western Cape, no, it's just Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape, you're holding it down. 82% of new registrations were young people. I need you guys to give yourselves a round of applause. Eastern Cape people, keep holding it down. You guys are doing the things to make the things to be done. Gauteng, KZN, stop it. Free State, I'm also calling you guys out. Anyways, this has been me. It's been Lefataleni. And yeah, just want to shout you guys out. Thanks for your support. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming through. I hope you guys come through again. And also, don't forget to give my podcast a share. Give it a like if you can. Give it a like. Rate it. Give my episode a comment. Just download the episode too, man. I really appreciate it. It does help in some capacity to download. If you're seeing this on YouTube, like, subscribe, do the things to make the things to be done. You guys know what to do. Comment. If you're listening to this on Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and the like, just rate it, share it, spread the message, man. Spread the good word. And I will see you guys next week. This has been Lefataleni signing out.